thank everybody for being here today. I know it's busy and I appreciate you taking the time. So just a little bit about me. My name is Michelle Tilley and I am the founder of ElleTree HR Consulting. I hold a certified AI for HR designation, as a specialist designation, and I did that last year through AI HR. And that's along with my CPHR, my SHRM CP and my Chartered MCIPD. I got into AI back in November 2022 when I was working for a tech company. And it was one of those moments where they said to me, you need to do ChatGPT. We're adopting it. It's an LLM, which is a large language model. And I was like, what? Really? HR? No, it doesn't work for me. But I went ahead and I persevered with it and I absolutely loved it. And I've used it since November 2022. And up until about September last year, I was using ChatGPT for pretty much everything I was doing. I built my own GPTs. And I moved into Claude because Claude was like a shiny tool. And I was like, oh, let's see what this is doing. Claude knocks everything else out of the park, which is amazing. It's got so much capability of what you can do with it. And certainly from an HR perspective as well, it's just fabulous. I love it. So that's kind of a little bit about me. Today's session is called Human First, AI Second. And the title kind of says everything about how I feel about it. It's that humans should be first and AI should always be second. So it's about understanding how AI can support the human work of HR and leadership in a way that's practical, responsible and grounded. So by the end of this webinar, I'm hoping that you're going to be able to walk away with 2 or 3 AI workflows that you can actually try out. There is absolutely no tech background required, and I promise you that. So quick housekeeping, feel free to drop your questions in the chat at any time. I will be watching throughout and we will have a Q&A at the end. I'll try to answer the questions as we go, or I'll take pauses throughout and have a look. And if you're watching the replay, my email's on the very last slide. So let's get started with this. So now that you know why you're here, let me just find the right bit. I told you I was going to have some tech problems. Okay. So now that you know why you're here, let's have a look. So why AI now? That's what we're going to touch on very first. So we're going to start with that, why it's happening, the landscape, the numbers, and why the human first approach matters more than ever. Then we'll touch on the human first, well, I put my teeth in, the human systems AI framework, which is my 3-step approach for adopting AI without losing the judgment that good HR approach depends on. The heart of today is the hands-on section. So if you're up for it, you'll get to put some work into GPT if you have it, or Claude, Gemini. If not, you can just watch what I'm doing and be brutally honest and give me the feedback and tell me it was rubbish if it was. And then, we'll move on to the ethics, the bias, and the building trust. And that's kind of pretty much the key part of using AI for HR as well. So this is where the responsible adoption either holds everything together or it falls apart. And then you'll have your implementation starter kit. That'll give you a clear, grounded plan for use. And then we'll close with the Q&As and next steps. There's also, I've got a little special offer at the end of this as well. So we'll touch on that later. So let's take a look at why AI now for HR. So this is quite cool. So as HR professionals, hands up if you think you're a superhero. Thanks, Leona. I think all, and Kim, great. I think all HR professionals are superheroes. The picture here, I use Nano Banana for the image on here, another AI tool. I'd gone to an event and they were taking some photos and I came back with this idea. I thought, oh, let's do this. I used this as an Instagram post and it was really cool. We take on everything, and what AI does is it gives us the superpowers to do what we do responsibly and ethically. So how do we do that? So we're going to touch on that. So let's give some context for why the conversation's happening right now in 2026. 76% of HR leaders say that AI adoption is urgent. Not nice to have, it's urgent. So 40% reduction in time to hire for organizations in using AI in recruitment. The HR market, AI market, is projected to hit $8 billion by 2028. It's $8 billion, that's phenomenal. And in companies using AI analytics, they're already making these decisions 3 times faster. So underneath all that, what I want to sort of sit with you is it's not about keeping up. It's not about fear. It's about equipping yourself with the tools to do your best work without losing the humanity that makes HR worth doing. So, you know, you've probably all seen this on LinkedIn and social media that HR professionals are being replaced, employees are being replaced by AI. We're not. What we're doing is we're getting better tools. We're getting better tools to do the job that we're really good at. The superhero analogy on this slide, I absolutely love it because it's how I think about it. I really do believe that it is given as superheroes. It's your utility belt. And underneath everything, you're still the one that makes the calls. You're the person, you're the human behind it. AI can't do empathy. It can't do that reading the room when it walks into a room. As humans, that's what we can do. So what I'm going to ask you at the moment is just a show of hands. I'll just type in the box which one you've used. How many of you have already tried ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or any other AI tool for any work? Cool. It's a few of you. And have you been using it for a while? Do you find it useful? Samira, yeah, great. So are you using it every day? Just one of the things, are you using it every day for daily tasks? Are you using it for more than that? Are you building anything with it? Awesome, Samira, you help as you work on your own. Brilliant. Excellent, Leona. Weekly. Brilliant. Oh, that's cool. I want to know more about your GPT, Leona. I want to have a chat with you.
Just like to answer my own questions, you know, like I create a lot of stuff. So the stuff that I have in there, that's like, okay, what's the policy on this? Like I can get it in my own words. It's just kind of like a easier way to search my repository of existing things. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Did you give it a name?
Did I? No, I think I just called it something stupid like HR advisor, like lame, but yeah. I know. You have all these lovely names for all of yours, and so like you've inspired me, but like I really should. I should call it something fancy, but I haven't yet.
I've got a few that don't have names as well, but I do have a lot. Leona's right. I do have a lot of tools that are all names. I've got Bud, I've got Rosie, I've got Sprout. I'm going to talk about Sprout in a little bit because Sprout's super cool. And there's a whole heap, which if you want more information, I'm happy to share that with you. So that's the superhero slide. Yeah, we are absolutely fabulous and we're just the best at what we do. So if AI is given us superpowers, how are we using them responsibly? And that is like one of the key things is how do we use AI responsibly? So the framework that I use with every client that I work with, it's called Human Systems AI, and it's built on one core belief, and this is my belief. Okay, I think maybe a few people do this. Design the human workflow first, then layer in the right tools with calm, ethical AI adoption. So no hype, no fear. I find that too many organizations do this backwards. I don't know if you'll all agree with me on this, but I do find that they do this backwards. They buy a platform first, they implement a tool, and then what they do is they try and figure out where it fits into the processes. What that is, it's a recipe for wasting money and frustrated teams. So step one, define a human workflow. Before you think about AI at all, map the decision that you're making today. Who is involved? What data do you use? What does the outcome look like? And you'll be really surprised at how many HR teams can't clearly articulate their current process. And if you can't articulate it, you can't improve it. I'm going to take a drink because my mouth's really dry. Step two, find the friction points. Where does the process slow down? Where does bias creep in? Where do you wish you had more data, more time, or more consistency? These are your AI opportunities, not everywhere, just specific named friction points. And then step 3, layer in AI thoughtfully. Choose a tool that solves the specific friction, not something shiny new platform. Don't do what I did. I did shiny new platform with Claude, and it was like I jiggled about a few things. It was great. Just find something that doesn't replace your judgment. Look for the specific solution to the specific problem. So start small is the way I would word that. The principle underneath all of this is AI recommends and humans decide. So always keep a human in the loop for any decisions that affect people. So for anything that touches someone's career or livelihood or well-being, a human makes the call. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions?
It might be a conversation for another day, but I would love to hear your experience working through like making sure that your governance is strong enough so that you're not risking any like AI driven data loss, especially like when you get into confidentiality stuff, but that can be, you know, I guess.
I think definitely a chat for over a coffee, Leona, definitely. Certainly from an HR perspective as well, I think it's really key to work with if you've got an IT department as well, to make sure you've got your AI policy in place as well for that. And again, it's something that's still relatively new. It's still relatively new, and there are lots of places that don't have anything in place for governance or compliance. We're still learning as we go with a lot of this. But yeah, Leona, definitely we'll pencil something in with that, and it can be another discussion for a later date for everybody. So this is going to be the next scary bit for me. 3 ready-to-use AI workflows. So I've made you a promise that we're going to do some work. I am really excited about doing this, to the point I'm excited I'll probably make a mistake. That's fine. So the practical part of today's 3 workflows, start using them this week. We're going to walk through each one of them individually. So you'll get the prompt, the context, and the guardrails. So it's really important when you're working with AI as well, like Fiona said about compliance and policy. When you're using AI, so make sure you've got guardrails in place. So the privacy side of it, confidentiality is key. I wouldn't recommend using Gemini for anything HR related. It doesn't have the same guardrails in place, the same security as GPT and Claude have. When you're setting up in Claude and GPT, if you've not used it before, or if you have used it, go into the settings area and you can actually toggle the privacy switch off it so you're not sharing the data. And it's very important as well that when you are inputting data into any of these LLMs or AI tools, is that everything's anonymized. So you don't put anybody's confidential information. There's no employee ID numbers, telephone numbers, anything like that. So just keep it all privacy. So let's go on to workflow 1. This is, I'm not going to want to just say, I'm going to run through this bit first. AI assisted job description writing. I'm getting ahead of myself. So start with workflow 1 is where we're going to go. I'm sort of jumping about, so I'm looking at the wrong slide. We're going to touch on the AI assisted job description writing. We're going to do the smart employee survey analysis and the data-backed retention conversations. We'll look into them in more detail in a second. So let me just go into and introduce you to Sprout. So next to Rosie, so I've got a tool called Rosie, and Rosie's my HR Roots audit. Sprout is my AI-assisted job description writer. Thanks, Leona. He's very cute. He doesn't answer me back, which is even better. I was working last night. I was doing some work for this webinar last night. I was chatting to Claude. It's about 9:30, and Claude just turned around and said, "Michelle, it's almost midnight. I think you need to go to bed." And I was like, "It's 9:30," and he was like, "Oh, I apologize." Seriously. Anyway, so that's just the way I've got Claude built. It tells me when I need to have a coffee or take a break. So Sprout, so let's have a look at Sprout. Don't use this link. If you wanted to follow along, you can do, but the demo's not working. That's why I was freaking out this morning, because it wasn't working. So I'm just going to go straight into Sprout so you can still see the screen. Sprout creates clear time job descriptions in minutes. It saves us time. So how many of us have spent 2 hours on a job description only to end up with something that was written like 20 years ago? Inconsistent language, inflated requirements, buried outcomes. I think we've all been there, have we? Hands if you have, yeah. Brilliant. So with a good prompt in Claude or ChatGPT, you can have a solid first draft in under 2 minutes. I've taken it a little step further. So Sprout's a purpose-built job description writing tool designed specifically for us HR professionals and growing businesses. And it's part of my Kind Hire suite that I've built. So let me show you what Sprout can do. Let's get into this. I've already opened it up. So I've got this on the agency plan at the moment, just so that you can get a full scope of what goes on in here. We're going to write a new job description. So we'll just click write new job description. I am going to start with, we've got one written down here already. So I'm just going to type in operations manager. Well, it has all the jurisdictions. So it has all the provinces in Canada. It's got all 51 states, or 50 states, sorry, in the US. And the United Kingdom, Australia, and then global remote. And what this does on the back end, it connects with the local jurisdiction and gets the updates from there. So it should be fully compliant with your area. So for the purpose of this, we're going to use Alberta because that's where I am. What's the primary value of this role? So keeping the business running smoothly, making people, processes, and to do. My plan was with this that it was going to be fully interactive and you're all going to be able to follow along using the demo and try it out yourself. But the tech side had different ideas for that. And who's it reporting to? I'm just going to put the CEO in there. You can put the salary in if you want to. I'm just going to go a low ball on this one. Key outcomes for this, so we'll say communication, problem solving, leadership, and initiative. What's one key impact by 6 months? What should they have accomplished or contributed to? You can put in as much information or as little information as you want to on this one. I'm just going to leave this one blank for now, just for time. Company name, we'll do ElleTree. About the company, so ElleTree. Again, you can put as much information in here as you want or as little. I'm just going to keep it simple. What type of employment is it? Full-time, we'll do full-time on this one. Work agreement, we'll do hybrid. Benefits, I'm tempted to say no benefits at this point, but I don't think that would go down very well. Let's do 3 weeks vacation and full health benefits. And much in RSP. Okay. Helps if I can type and spell. You tell this is live. And then we just generate the job description. I would love feedback on this as well. If there's anything you feel that could be added into it, or something that isn't working on it. And this is what it produces. So this is the basic job description. I'm skipping too fast, let me know. So it's kind of thrown everything in there. And then what we can do here is you can either make it shorter. So you've got smart rewrites. You can make it shorter and it takes a couple of seconds. And just bullet points, the key points in here. You could add inclusive language and it throws that in here. So it expands on that. It's also got the footnote in the bottom that it complies with Canadian employment laws. You'll find for Australia and for the US, it has similar at the bottom as well. Now what you do is you can just download it as a Word document or as a PDF or copy it to the clipboard. Once you finish with that, you can just go back to my library. It should have saved it in the library. There we go. And you can just use that as a template going forward. With the agency mode, you can save up to 50 job descriptions. Now, I know you can do something similar in ChatGPT and Claude, but it doesn't save it in a library. So it saves it in a library here, and you can, with the agency mode, you can have up to 5 seats. So if you've got 5 people on your team and they all want access, you can all collate and collaborate on this and have the access, and it tracks the version changes as well. Any thoughts on that one so far?
I like it.
Anything anybody would like to see on this?
I would love to see some like it might not apply to all of them, but you know how sometimes you'll have an organization where there's some quantifiable or sometimes qualitative, but usually quantitative, like goals or metrics of some kind of measurable success that then performance like bonuses or other things are kind of connected to, that like, you know, achieve 20% growth of this thing every year kind of thing. If there's like, if the company is very sophisticated in terms of like KPIs and compensation structures and whatever those are, like, you know, weaving those in there too for the measurable pieces.
I can absolutely build that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. But yeah, that's great. That can definitely be built in. That's something I can go with and do that today, and it can be in there by tomorrow. That's fine.
But the flexibility of it is awesome, because like a lot of places are not that sophisticated, right? So even getting to this by answering a couple questions in, like you said, 2 minutes, fantastic. Like,
thanks. I really like it. I started building Sprout originally in a GPT back in July last year. I think it was July time. And it was kind of like, I was kind of like toying with the idea, and I was like, oh, I could do this, can do that. And I thought, you know what, I'm actually moving into a different platform, and I've done the back end of it, and sort of dabbled with coding, which was, you know, I'm turning into a bit of a GPT geek, a AI geek. And it's just the things I can do are just, I'm just loving it. I'm so excited by it. But yeah, it's great to have the feedback so I can sort of look at areas and sort of speak to other HR professionals. Say, how can this be improved? What would you want to see in there? What will make your life easier with this tool? And again, with this as well, you can download it as a Word document. You can add in the extras. So this gives you the bones of it to work with, and then you can just adopt it and then upload it to whatever ATS you're using, or whatever job board you're using. With the agency plan as well, the ElleTree Kind Hire branding is actually taken off it, whereas with the solo, it's still in there. So it gives you a bit more flexibility, and it's something that's going to be evolving over the next few months too. So that's Sprout. I'm going to say goodbye to Sprout because he's very cute, and I really love him. And I'm going to move on to the next one, which is, we're going to actually do this in GPT. So has anybody else got GPT open? Do you want to give this a try yourselves? Just to paste this, copy and paste this into your GPT. I'll pop it in the comments. And use that and just see, just upload some anonymized comments if you want to, or I can actually share some with you. Let me just find what I've got here. So, sorry, I'm just trying to copy this in. So if you want to copy that into your GPT and just see what the outcome is, I would love to see what you get. And there's some more here as well. Not sure if I said at the beginning that you'd be expected to work through this webinar. So I'm just going to move my GPT in here. Right, can you see this? Cool. Just an FYI for this as well. These aren't real comments. This is something that Claude put together for me when I just asked him to. I'm assuming Claude's a he. I just said, like, I'm doing this webinar and I want some fake demo comments. Please put them together. So in GPT, this is what it's come back with within seconds. Just a structured read of the survey feedback.
I'll compare. I'll tell you what I got here.
Yeah, well, this would be great if you could.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Just interesting to see how different.
Fantastic. Okay, so communication transparency. Okay, so so my theme number one, let's see what I've got here. Communication transparency came up as a theme, as the second theme.
Okay.
Theme number one, I got career growth, recognition, and development. Number two, communication transparency and employee voice. Number three, workload, burnout, pace of change. Okay. Number four, management, quality, fairness, and psychological safety. And then number five, operational structure, process, and organizational maturity. I feel like we got a lot of the same stuff. Like
basically the same, yeah.
Yeah. I like the red flag there.
Yeah, I like this. I'm gonna do this in. You had the same stuff in a different order, Samira. Fantastic. I'm going to do the same thing in Claude. I'm going to try and get into Claude and do this. Just need to comment in the chat. Okay.
Cool.
Let me just scroll up here, and I'm going to just copy that. And what we're going to see is what Claude opens up with it. Okay, let's see, share this one.
Yeah, certainly a lot faster than having to like come up with all these, read through all of it yourself. Like
it does. I mean, it saves so much time. You look at data and it's like, how do you, apart from putting in Excel and trying to do a sort in it, how do you do it?
Especially pulling out language, right?
Yeah.
Like it does that really well. Cause like, I like how it said, like, this was evident by language in the following comments. So like what it did a good job of here is like, it referenced like, comments 1, 5, and 7 indicate like, because then you can go back and read those and be like, oh, that's not what that meant at all. Right. So it makes it easy for your human in the loop to be efficient about the work it's doing as a QA.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to share what Claude brought up for me as well. Okay, can you see Claude?
Yes.
I put exactly the same information in Claude.
Hey, yeah.
And
workload, career growth.
And if I wanted to with Claude, I could actually.
Awesome.
Well, I can't because I've just I've been busy in Claude today, so I've used my usage. But I could actually create a graph or a chart in Claude as well, and it does it so quickly as well. So you can sort of monitor that of where these areas are. So again, comments 1, 5, and 13, 3, 12, and 15, and it, yeah. So you're right, Leona. It highlights the comments. I really like that.
Yeah, it's handy.
So yeah, so the note, so it gives you a good report to go to your meeting, or to at least assess what needs to be addressed, what are the big pain points. So that aside, let me just go back to the right page. Okay, so we're back in the webinar. I am going to shout at my computer in a minute. So how quick was it? Like Leona said, that was quick. Did anybody else try it apart from Samira? Any other thoughts on it?
I done it as well. I think the difference for myself was that it had all the urgent and act now stuff right at the top.
Yeah.
So it highlighted all of them before, and then it came up with similar 5 themes.
Brilliant, brilliant. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. So that's not the end of the process, as we know. It's a starting point. So when we then look at that, we sort of look at the output. We look at our context. We use our context and our knowledge of the people as well. So what AI does is it's organized the information, but we put the human element back into it. So we are the ones that decide what we do with it. And just if you're interested, you can run this on real survey data. But like I said earlier, just make sure that all the names and any identifying details are removed first, because you don't want that in there. Now, the next workflow that we've got here, data-backed retention conversation. So what is one of the biggest pain points in HR is retention. How you know, how do we keep people? The workflow I have here, I have signals for 3 employees with no names, just data. So tenure, engagement scores, behavioral signals, what changed recently. And I'm going to ask Claude, I'm going to use Claude for this one. But if you want to copy this, I'll put this into the chat as well. If you want to copy this in GPT, I'd just love to compare the differences. So that's the first bit. So that's the prompt. And then this is the data. Just copy that and paste it. So I am going to open Claude. Yeah, I know my usage is past, that's fine. So I should have some background music on when we're doing this bit. Okay. So with Claude, it's got my branding calibrator and it's got everything about ElleTree, how I speak, how I want things to be laid out. So it's very tailored to ElleTree. So the results that you would get if you were using Claude would be slightly different because you would have it tailored to your company or to your brand. And that gives you a different outcome to what I would get. Wow, that's bringing up a lot of information on here.
I'll be interested to see if they're ranked in the same order.
So what did we do? What did it show me? So flight risk assessment. All three are flight risks. Is that what you got?
Yeah, all three, but like kind of in the order of all three, some degree of retention risk. However, the severity and immediacy differ. So highest immediate flight risk was flagged as employee A.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've got here as well.
Employee C was number 2 with high strategic retention risk. And then employee B was last as moderate to high flight risk. Did you get the same order?
It hasn't put it in that order. It's put it just high risk for employee A and high risk for employee B, and then high risk and highest stakes for employee C.
Yeah, it's a similar kind of.
So if I was to put in here, which is the highest risk, let's see where it does. Employee C.
Yeah, because of the strategy part of it, that makes sense. I would probably make a similar call.
Wow, it's feeding out a lot of information here.
Yeah.
So just being able to use it for things like that, just knowing what prompts to put in and how to word it. I think that's kind of one of the things. Sorry, I'm just, the whole thing with the say about multitasking. That's really good. I'm just trying to get back onto the other screen. But then a minute. So that definitely identified the risk level. Employee C return from parental leave would be the one that you would have a different conversation with, as opposed to employee A, who's been sort of out of sight of leadership. It's not your typical generic, the stay conversation that you would have. So you can actually tailor it to the person by using AI, and it pulls that through. So again, AI is bringing up the data for you to have that conversation, and then you taking that relationship, the empathy and the judgment, and you can even use AI then to tailor the questions as well that you need to ask. So you can expand on that as well. Has anybody else got any other input? Did anybody else try that?
Mine suggested some of those questions, and I thought that was really great, because a lot of times when you're supporting managers and you can't be everywhere, like they sort of don't know what they can or can't ask, but they also don't necessarily think about like, what are we trying to get at on the whole, So like the ask this to parse out this information, like the strategy behind the conversation, I felt like came through in the suggested language. I thought that was super helpful.
Fantastic. I'd love you to, if you could copy that, Leona, and just share that with me. I'd love to see what your outcomes was. If you don't mind sort of sharing that would be great. So those are the 3 core workflows. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit now and just sort of look at the bigger picture of talent acquisition. And we've sort of got 15 minutes, and we're kind of on track for time, I think, just now. If you've got to go on the hour, then please do, and I'll send you the recording anyway. So what we would do here is, for talent acquisition, first things first, you'd write the job description. So Sprout, we've just seen Sprout, we've seen what Sprout does. You can use GPT, but you would necessarily get the same outcome. Second thing would be to draft your interview questions. So you can paste your job description, excuse me, into ChatGPT or Claude and ask for structured competency-based interview questions aligned to that role. And that takes a few minutes. And then thirdly, Kind Hire Interview Builder is coming soon. So again, that's another tool I've built. So it's a purpose-built interview question tool for small business hiring. And just a note, AI-assisted resume screening and ATS integration is a totally separate subject. I'm not even going to touch on it. I had built so last summer I built another tool called Bud, and he was a resume writer. So my son-in-law was looking for a new job, and he's like, how do I do this? So I sort of sat through and I actually built a tool for him. I was like, this is kind of cool and it's cute. So it looks very similar to Sprout. But what I've found and what I've heard as well is people saying they can't get past the ATS. Their applications aren't getting further than this system, or it's not parsing properly. And what Bud does is it does actually enable your resume to parse nicely without you having to then spend an hour or 30 minutes going through and correcting it and entering questions and setting the dates and everything. That's not a tool I'm going to sort of go into today, but beyond hiring, AI is also transforming how we understand and retain the people we already have. So let's just move on to the next one. Employee engagement is where AI can be incredibly powerful. So we've already seen the capabilities of what it can do. That's great, Leona. Sorry, I've just seen that in the chat. That's fantastic. Thank you. So you've already seen what ChatGPT and what Claude can produce. But it's so important to have that trust with your employees and with management and leaders, because otherwise they just think, oh, it's just AI pulling everything through, when it's not. It's the other one actually behind it, inputting the data and producing the work and interpreting a lot of that data, even though AI is giving you what's the word I'm looking for? It's molding it, it's collating it and simplifying it for you. You're still the one that's behind it and translating that into the human approach and how you deal with it from a human perspective. So sentiment analysis, so NLP scans surveys. So an NLP, I'm trying to remember what that is now. It's a language platform. So your Slack messages and reviews go to sort of test the real-time moods across your organization. So you can use it for any of your surveys. So the key word here is aggregate. We're looking at the team and organizational platforms, not monitoring individual employees. It collates everything together. The attrition prediction, so an ML model identifies at-risk employees 3 to 6 months earlier, and that's part of what Workflow 3 supports, so getting ahead of it before it comes an exit interview, because if you're at the exit interview point, you've already gone beyond saving them, and then that's a cost to the company. So what we're trying to do is reduce the cost to the company. And then engagement scoring, so composite scores from participation, feedback, collaboration. It goes beyond the annual survey that we do. And then action recommendations, it's not just flagging the problems, it's suggesting specific interventions which are tailored to team dynamics, and that's powerful. So let's just look at the top here. So turn the passive surveys into continuous listening systems. The nice line there is it's built on care and not surveillance. And I think that's part of the principle here. It's the whole principle. It's how you frame AI how you frame AI for your employees, how you use it for them matters hugely. And if people start feeling watched, or the trust's going to break down. Whereas if you're using this and they feel supported, then the engagement's going to go up and you're going to retain your employees. So it's how do you communicate it as well, and how do you put that across them, that it's you behind it as a human. It's not just a faceless AI tool that's pretending to be human. So how do you do that? So if engagement is evolving, which is what this is here, if engagement's evolving, performance management has to evolve as well. So it's all related. So if you look at this slide here, rethinking performance management with AI, and you look at the right-hand side, sorry, on the left-hand side, which is what most organizations still do today. So annual reviews, subjective ratings, manager bias, one size fits all, and backward-looking assessments. Whereas on the right-hand side, what becomes possible with human systems AI is continuous feedback loops, data-backed competency scoring, multi-source 360-degree analytics, personalized growth pains, and predictive performance insights. So I just want to sort of speak about what predictive performance insight means. It doesn't mean It doesn't mean judging people before they've done the work. What it means is it's identifying where someone might need some support before they struggle. So catching it before it becomes irreversible. It's about enabling success and not predicting failure. Because if we start doing this to predict failure, then we've already lost. Whereas if you're using it from the positive side and, how do we set somebody up for success? How do we make sure that they succeed and grow? That, from my perspective from ElleTree, the people are the roots of the business. So if you're nurturing the roots, you're nurturing the people, you're working with the people, you're making the business grow and you're strengthening that. And that this is kind of where this all ties in. So let's get everybody involved on this one. Which part of this excites you the most on this slide? Is it the continuous feedback, the personalized growth plans, or is it something else? I'd just love to kind of know what your thoughts are on this.
I like the competency scoring, like being able to standardize that a little.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
Subjectivity of performance reviews kills me. So, but again, like I'm just thinking too, like you collect all this data, and now we have some defined stuff, and where we can quantify it. Hey, guess what? Now we have stuff to put in our job description too. So we really are working smarter. Like it's,
And this is great feedback for me as well, because these are things that I can build into Kindhire as well. So I can build in this. So just an FYI, I'm building an HRIS at the moment as well. So all of this is going to be going into this one platform. And it's similar to Bamboo, but it's different to Bamboo. It's similar to, it's nothing like Dayforce. I really do not like Dayforce. I've got PTSD from implementing Dayforce. But having implemented different HRISs, I was like, from an HR professional, I've seen HRISs being built from a finance perspective and not taking into consideration the end user, which is the employee, or the admin side, the people that are actually using it for performance management and surveys and competency. How do we do that in a system? So this is what I'm building at the moment. It's going to take probably 3 to 6 months before I'm ready to launch anything, but getting this information, I appreciate it's really valuable. And I'd love you just to sort of fire me what you would like to see from a system or from a platform that would work for HR. I would love that. But none of this is going to work if we get the ethics wrong. And ethics and bias, I've seen bias so often. Women are sort of way behind on things at the moment. All of these language learning models over the last 3 years have been predominantly programmed by men. They've learned from men, and that bias has been in there. Cool. Sorry, I just saw a comment come up. I'll come back to that a bit, Samira. So the bias and fairness, a lot of it's been like a male perspective. I've got a whole heap of numbers for this, which I haven't included in the slides, and I'm happy to share them if anybody wants to see this. But I sort of want to run through this. I'm very mindful. We've got like 5 minutes, and we're probably going to go over a little bit, so I apologize. I think to keep the bias under control, to be very bias aware on this, it's important that you regularly audit your AI tools for demographic bias. Use diverse training data and keep the humans in the loop. Again, it's coming back to the humans all the time for every decision that affects people. And what AI does is it's using historical patterns. So things that have happened before, not what's going to be happening in the future. And that includes any bias. So as HR professionals, when we're doing anything, that's our responsibility to keep on top of that and to check it. So be mindful of that. Transparency, again, your employees should know when AI is being used in any decisions affecting them. So be very clear that AI is not making the decisions, but they are contributing to collating the data or compiling the reports for that. And that's a good one too. We're not keeping any secrets. And that is an absolute non-negotiable. And then data privacy, again, that sort of brings back to something you mentioned earlier on, Leona, as well. So it complies with GDPR, CCPA, and any local regulations. Minimize the data collection and anonymize wherever possible and protect your employees. It's not a legal checkbox, but that is how you earn and keep trust. And then accountability, as it says there, AI recommends, humans decide. So establish the clear governance, the escalation paths. Make sure that it's a person, not the system, that owns every decision that affects an employee. So the test I always come back to, would I be comfortable explaining this process openly to an employee? If yes, you're fine. If you'd hesitate, if you sort of think, I'm not sure, then pause and review, and before you go any further forward. So I see there's a couple of people dropping off, so we'll catch up with you guys later. Thanks for coming. So 3 more slides to go. I'll keep it pretty quick. So your starter kit for this week. So I don't want you to leave feeling inspired but paralyzed. I know there's a lot of noise around AI. There's so much going on. It's like everywhere. So just a simple plan. So for this week, this month, and this quarter. So this week, quick win. Just try one of the workflows from today's session. Draft a JD. Use a prompt. If you want a prompt, let me know and I'll send you a prompt for that, for a job description. Or if you want to know more about Sprout, we can touch on that in a minute. Run a survey analysis with ChatGPT or with Claude, and just pick one and just do it before Friday and see how you get on. And then this month, build the foundation. Audit your current HR processes. I do have an audit if anybody wants to see this as well. So if you want a copy of it, I can send it, I can share it with you. So audit your current HR processes for AI. Start with a small pilot with one team. Set the ethical guidelines for AI use in your organization. And even just a one-page document is just a good starting point, and then you can just grow on that and expand on it. This quarter, just scale thoughtfully. Don't go in too big. Just expand 1 or 2 just additional workflows. Train your HR team on AI literacy, measure the impact, and gather the feedback. Notice a pattern. Small and thoughtful. That's a new word. I'm making it up as I go along. Just something thoughtful is what I was trying to say. So something that's just sensible. Just one sensible use rather than 10 rushed ones. So take time, be methodical about it. Yes, there's a lot of noise with AI. There's a lot of like, get this done now, get this done now. But if you take your time and do it properly and dig deep with it, you're setting the ground for clear consistency as you go on. Now, where am I? Key takeaways. I think I've kind of thrown them at you anyway. I'll skip through. There you go. Write better job description. So this is, you also Sprout. Apart from being very cute, he's very, very useful, but I've also got a special offer on him. So this is what the regular prices would be for Sprout. He's on a subscription tool, single credit. So for one job description, it's $19 for a one-off use. If you want to subscribe monthly, it would be $69 a month for up to 10 job descriptions a month. And then you could do it annually if you want to do as well for $6.90, which is, it's not bad value. And then agency plans for larger teams at $249 a month. And the agency teams gives you 5 seats. What I'm offering for being, coming to the webinar and supporting me with this today, I'm offering a 40% discount, and it's a lifetime discount because it's part of the founding member and webinars discount. I'll send you the code in your email when I follow up with this. That's available until May 20th. And then after May 20th to the end of May, it'll be a 25% discount. So for anybody signing up before the end of May, they're either going to get a 40% discount for life or 25% discount for life, just as a thank you for coming along today. If you want to take a look at that, what I'll do is I'll send you the link in the email, and you can just link to that. So I'm just going to go to the last bit, which is any questions. And a huge thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Samira.
Will we get this recorded or?
Yeah, that's my plan. I'm hoping it's recorded well. I'll find out at the end of this whether it has. It's been recording the whole time. My plan is to send the recording out as well, so you'll have that.
Okay, this is one of the better webinars that I've attended on this topic, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. That means such a lot. Thank you.
Of course.
I would love to take a look at your HR audit stuff because I get asked to do those things too. So
Same
yeah,
here.
I'll share that. I'll share the link for that. It's just yeah, I'll share that in the emails that I sent out.